In this special episode, we'll be bringing you all of the best bits and highlights of where Ryan has discussed joint ventures and joint venture partners over the course of this podcast. He gives advice on deal structure and a range of other topics that can help you find success in your own business. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you think at RyanOsOX and leave a review.
So just to give you guys a bit of background, there's some joint venture partners that I have. Now, what they do is they join my program, and when I say join my program, there's nothing for sale. We don't sell any training or courses or anything like that, but they do access a members area, a membership site that I've got, which teaches them everything about service accommodation and guaranteed rent and rent to rent and how to find properties, high cash flowing properties, how to negotiate with the landlords, how to see how much profit they're going to make, how to structure the deals, how to talk to the landlords, how to close the deals, and then how to manage the properties so they produce cash flow, high cash flow every single month. So we have joint venture partners which are in different areas, different cities over the UK. And again, we just teach them everything they need to know. They come on board, then they go out and use these skills to find the deals. And then my company helps them, mentors them, answers their questions, structures or restructures deals for them, deals with any problems, put fires out, and just make sure that their business remains profitable, that we share together between us. So they're the operators and I oversee everything. That's my role in the company. Teach them everything, mentor them, get them up to speed, get them into the deal, show them the mistakes, show them where they can make more money, show them how to lose less money, basically mentor them so they can get everything that they need. There's some partners that I have, and in a particular deal or deals in Southampton recently. Now, they went out and found the deals and put the deals together with my help. My company puts all the money in, so funds the deal, finances the deals, etc. So before the pandemic, as you can imagine, these deals or any deals looked like good deals. Now, to be honest, we probably paid a little bit more than we should have at that time for this particular block. It was a block with some flats in, and we did pay a little bit over the odds for these. These are rent-to-rent service accommodation deals. So we lease them from a landlord or an investor, and then we have the flexibility to do whatever we want with them. So these are actually used as service accommodation, short-term lets, etc. Okay. Now, the deals at the time when they were found and, sourced and put together and structured looked, like they were reasonable deals. But to be fair, we did pay a bit over the odds. Now, that's partly because I want to, keep expanding my, my joint venture partners' portfolio over there. And if we're paying a little bit more, it's absolutely fine. I mean, I've taken on deals myself where I've given the landlords 20, even 25% more than the market rent to get the deal. Now, I go into that in depth in another episode, but just to give you a summary, there was a property on at $1,250 a month. I had to pay $1,500 to get it. I was with my daughter. We went round to see the guy. He decided he wanted just a long-term tenant. He didn't want to do the service accommodation or us use it as like a hotel. He said that it just wouldn't work for him in the end. He was close. Then he decided to take on some sharers. Now, those sharers put the deposit down, paid for the credit check-in and referencing and everything else, and they were due to move in. I went back to see the landlord with my daughter, and in the end, we just had a conversation. And cut a long story short, I invited him to my barbecue, invited him around my house where we could look over all the paperwork and anything he was unsure of, any objections, we'd go through them together, which was part of the reason why he didn't want to do it. And in the end, he still said no. Then I offered him the maximum I could, which was £1,500 a month. Now, £1,500 a month for a property that he is advertised at £1,250 a month is a massive margin for any landlord. It may take you 5, even 10 years for the rent to go up that much, maybe even 15 years. And I just went straight in knowing how much the property would make and offered him the best I could, which was £1,500 a month for a property that he had advertised at £1,250 a month. And what do you think he said? of course, we did the deal. 3 years on, obviously we still have that deal. Now, the reason why I'm explaining that story to you is because when you know the numbers for the properties, you can pay over the odds to secure the deal. So one strategy that I have is for my or some of my joint venture partners, or particularly these joint venture partners on this particular deal, being specific in Southampton, is we paid a bit over the odds because we wanted the whole block. Because as it happens, we had another apartment in another block in Portsmouth, and the deal was that we were getting the whole block. Then the landlord changed their mind, and it started off with one deal, and then we would get the next and the next and the next. As it happens, because mixing tenants on ASTs with shortlets and Booking.com and Airbnb in the same building, a brand new building just converted, lots of the tenants got together. The tenants weren't happy. People were changing, coming in at all hours, as they do. And in the end, the tenants made so many complaints that the owners, decided that it's not really going to work. So we didn't get the other properties. And then it come to the point that in the end, we just decided to vacate the building, move out of that building. As it happens, the landlord did not give me my deposit back that I paid as well. So that's another challenge which we're working with, based on that landlord being a thief and not paying my deposit back. Even though the property was returned in the exact same condition or better, and they was completely happy, and they emailed and everything, they had cash flow problems. Their company went into administration that runs the block, etc., and they did some skullduggery. Anyway, in the end, they basically did not pay me the deposit back. So, due to no fault of our own. So we learned from that with the partners over there and decided, let's start looking for blocks of flats instead from the start to get the whole block. So then there's never people on ASTs mixed in with other people, which are shortlets or Booking.com or Airbnb or Home Away, etc. Short-term travelers like a hotel. So we found this particular property, and it was all of the properties in the building. So in the end, the landlord he's an investor. He's had them a very long time. He understands that we're going to make money on the back of his properties, and he just decided he wants a share in that profit. So in the end, we had to offer the landlord above the market rent to get all of the properties. Now, when I say above the market rent, I mean, if you can imagine, sometimes we go in around about 20% below the market rent. So let's say one property is £1,000 a month. We would normally offer in the region of about 750 based on no fees, no voids, no maintenance costs, no renewal fees, no evictions, and just no tenant finding fees. So really, that 25% reduction is more or less what they would get if they rented it through a high street agent, paid them management fees, paid them tenant finding fees, etc., plus we're guaranteeing no voids, no evictions. So when you compare that or us to a high street agent, it's much better for landlords to go with us. Anyway, now that would enable us to pay about 25% below. So this particular property, even at the market rent, we paid above the market rent. So let's say it was 1,000. We came in at this property around about probably, 1,100, maybe 1,150. So looking at that as a percentage based on us normally getting it at about 75% of the market rent, we ended up paying about 115% of the market rent. So we're way above, but we knew the numbers, we knew the margins, we knew it was going to make money, we had the whole block, we're not going to get tenants complaining, and then obviously it causes problems further down the line because the whole building would be shortlets, which is the model, so it wouldn't get confused. Anyway, we paid over the odds for this particular building. Now, what happened was before we got back to our final inspection on the property, because it needed a lot of work between us putting the offer in, having the offer accepted. This is a rent-to-rent service accommodation. I mean, when I'm talking about offers, etc., it's not purchasing. So we didn't need a mortgage. We didn't have to pay a mortgage deposit. We didn't need any credit. We didn't have to put a big mortgage deposit down in that sense. It was a rent-to-rent service accommodation deal. Okay, we rent it from the owner, and then we can do whatever we want. So we become in the position of the landlord. We step into the landlord's shoes. Okay, now When it came to, well, the landlord took a very long time to do the work. There had to be decoration, there had to be tiling in the bathrooms, finishing off, tiles needed to be done, grouting, I think some carpets, I think some furniture, which they were doing, some work outside in the garden to the block. Anyway, this went on for a long time, to be fair. It went on for about 4 months, if I'm totally honest. So the deal was ours. It went on for about 4 months. We signed the contract and everything else, which means it's exclusive. But there's a point in our contract where we go back and do a handover, a final inspection. So that means that everything that was agreed has been done by the landlord. The property gets signed off. When it's signed off, then we're responsible to, or then the clock has started ticking. So we're paying the rent monthly, etc., whether the property is empty or not. Okay, so it got to that particular point where he was about to go back for the final inspection. Now, because we'd worked with the landlord for 4 months already, we sent our contractors there, we sent our handyman there, we sent the cleaners there, everything else, doing all the bits that needed to be finished off so we could just rush this deal through, get it on for the summer, because the landlord is very, very, very slow. I mean, it'd been empty before and there was problems and they haven't done the work and they've just left it empty and it's gathering dust and it's just costing money. And we just wanted it done, dusted, dressed, styled, furnished, listed, and we can get clients in for the season, which is, well, April now, so that would have been March. Well, any minute now. It would have been within about a week or 10 days ago. A week or 10 days ago, to be fair. More or less around the moment the coronavirus happened. So when we got into the lockdowns and when there was massive problems and when Booking.com and all the short-let providers are closing their doors and cancelling bookings and reservations, that was actually at that time then we were supposed to be doing the final inspection, and then the responsibility would have been ours to pay the rent regardless. Now, what actually happened was, because of that coronavirus and the landlord taking far too long to actually finish everything and the property to be handed over in an acceptable condition, the coronavirus happened. The lockdown happened. So I'm not really a fan of what I see all over the internet, which is, all these service accommodation people, the rent-to-renters that have entered into these deals, and then, the second there's a lockdown or the second there's problems in the market or bookings being cancelled, and they're like, oh, we'll just have the property back, just give it back and just walk away or just fold the company. That's not good. Now, I'm not an advocate of anything like that, so the best possible thing for us, remember, we hadn't entered into the deal because the property hadn't been presented in acceptable condition. However, we'd done all the work. We'd even dressed and styled the property. We sent, $3,000 worth of furniture there. It's already cost us money. We've put money on the meters, etc. There were smart meters, all topped up, all ready to go, ready for guests to move in, because we had a relationship with the owner on the properties in the block of flats, and we wanted to get it done as quick as possible, even though we hadn't actually done the final inspection. As the coronavirus happened, because we hadn't done the final inspection, because we hadn't ticked the box and signed everything, so we're now responsible for the rent because it wasn't done, probably by about 3 days or even 2 days, I had to go back to the owner and renegotiate, which was a difficult conversation to have, and, try and keep this deal alive. Otherwise, we would have lost a lot of money from everything that we put in, all the time we put in, all the effort, our handyman and, contractors we sent around there and cleaners, and we sent $3,000 worth of furniture, all the work that we did with the joint venture partners over there. It would have been a complete waste. So I'm always looking at other ways where you can think differently, you can think outside the box, a bit of lateral thinking to try and make sure this turns into a win-win for everybody instead of a lose-lose, okay? Now, I had to have a difficult conversation with the owner. Usually I just work behind the scenes. This is something that the joint venture partners would do. They do everything. I give them, I finance the deals. I give them, all of the mentoring that they need, the coaching calls, the structuring of the deal, and, going over the contract and making sure everything's right. They do the frontline stuff, okay? I'm behind the scenes. Nobody even sees me in that sense. I don't get involved. I'm just like a silent partner, silent investor, like an angel investor in their company. It's their company, but I'm obviously working behind the scenes and hold shares in their company in that sense, okay? And it got to the point where I had to then take the reins. So we had to do a handover. So the owner's never spoken to me. He doesn't know who I am, etc. And then I've had to come in to unravel the problems and help the joint venture partners that have never been in waters this deep before, don't know what to say. They can say the wrong thing. And we've lost, 10 grand. 10 grand's gone with everything that we've done, all the time and effort and the styling and the furniture pack. Everything that we sent, we just lose all the money. Especially if they just said the wrong thing, like change their mind. We don't want to go ahead with the deal now. We can't go ahead with the deal now. Or something's happened, or et cetera, et cetera. So I had to then step in. It was a delicate situation. They had to introduce me in a particular way for then the owner to then trust me and then deal with me only. And obviously the partners have been just moved out of the way. So anyway, what I managed to do is renegotiate that deal, which was a good deal the day before the lockdown or before the pandemic a pandemic. Literally on that day or the day after, a deal that was a good deal turned into a bad deal. It only turned into a bad deal because there's no guests traveling right now. The country's got into a lockdown. We don't know how long the lockdown will be. So to launch a building of service accommodation apartments in Southampton during the lockdown, where you're just then committed, is basically suicide. It's just suicidal. Nobody in their right mind would do it because you're locking yourself into a loss for probably the whole of that year. Because, it takes time to get the money back that you've invested, and you normally get it back within a certain amount of time. But starting on the back foot and during a lockdown, you're just locking yourself into a loss. So I couldn't have that. There is no point in having all of that money, my money, tied up in this particular deal that's not going to work for me or perform for me or give me a return or anything at all in the first year. It's just wasted. Putting 10,000 over there, just dropping 10 there, dropping 10 there, another 10 over there, knowing that it's not going to work for me or produce any income at all that year. It's completely written off. So that's just complete madness. So I had to renegotiate with the owner, which was difficult, which was very delicate, and come up with a solution that turns into a win-win. He wins, we win. So nobody loses, or a no-lose deal. So nobody loses. That's the plan. So what I managed to renegotiate is we're delaying the start of the contract. That's it. So we're delaying the guaranteed rent period, okay, which would have started right on the day that we went into the lockdown, or right on the day that it was turned into a pandemic, okay? Now, we managed to delay that for a certain amount of time because we're not underwriting any guarantees right now for rents. It's madness to start it, locking ourselves into a loss. So what we managed to do is just work together, and I came up with a solution that we would manage the property instead to start. We're going to review this every 3 to 6 months. So really 3 months is enough to review it. So instead of leasing the property or leasing the building, we're going to switch that into management instead to start. Now, what's that done for us, and what can it do for any of you guys that are in the same situation, a similar situation? Maybe you've got a bad deal that was a good deal last week. It's a bad deal this week just because of what's happened, and you may not have the funds to cover it, or you don't want to take on all that risk and that burden. There is the option for you to renegotiate that deal on better terms for everybody, okay? The landlord doesn't want to be given the property back to try and rent it now. It would lock him into a loss for, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, who knows, during the pandemic and the lockdown. How long would it take for him to rent it? Could he get tradesmen there, contractors there, removal companies there? Can people view it? Can people even move in? Are they allowed to? Is it against the law? Who knows? The best thing to do, which is what we did, is just open the dialogue, ask the question, basically presented a new offer that the owner just could not refuse exactly now in the current climate with everything that's happening. Not taking the piss, but putting an offer like the Godfather, making them an offer they can't refuse. Now that offer was made up of, we will find you a tenant, we will manage the property, we will guarantee no evictions. Now there's a way that we do that without us guaranteeing the no evictions and taking the hit. And we will make sure that we charge them much lower than any other agent would charge. Then what we would do is review the guaranteed rental contract and delay the start from 3, 6, or even 12 months. So we're going to review it together, and as soon as we're past this pandemic, things go back to normal, or as normal as they can go back to, and we can operate the building as a service block of flats, then everything goes back to how it was. So we've just parked that agreement. We haven't penciled in the start date. We're just delaying it, and we're reviewing it more or less 3 months at a time and just see where the market is, okay? How do we earn money from this deal? It's turned out that we still earn money from this block of flats, and we've entered into a different deal. So we said we would do tenant finding instead. Other agents are charging, 50% of the first month's rent, 3 weeks rent, some are doing deals because of the climate. But we just made them an offer, or I made them an offer they couldn't refuse. So I said, look, we'll find you tenants every single time, and we'll only charge you £99 on each flat. That covers our costs. I also said we'll manage the property, and we'll only charge you 12% on each property in the block of flats. That's all we'll charge you, and that includes us leaving all of our furniture in there. As you can imagine, we put $3,000 on a furniture pack. That's in each property in the block of flats. Maybe a bit less than 3,000, how it worked out, okay? But it's fully furnished, styled, dressed, washed, microwave, kettle, toaster, ironing board, bedding, spare sets of bedding, hoovers, everything you can think of, all the dressing, styling. So it's a fully functional service apartment, okay? So we put all of that in. It just arrived. It just literally arrived, and the next day was a pandemic. It just arrived. So it works out that we're going to leave all the furniture in each of the apartments. It still belongs to us, of course. What we'll be able to achieve now, which is higher because it's a fully functional corporate let, service accommodation, holiday let, which means it'll be more rent above the local market rent that the landlord would have got for an empty property. At the same time, all the rents have come down because now there's a glut of properties on the market. You know, every service accommodation provider, everyone on booking.com, everyone who was on Airbnb has now got these beautiful properties with towels on the beds and toiletries in the, bathrooms, and Netflix and Sky and all the channels and everything, and they're offering them on the market now. So tenants have got massive amounts of choice, which means they're getting better deals. That's just how it is. So the rents have already gone from here to here. We've added the dressing, the styling, the furnishing, etc., which takes the rent normally above where it was before, but it's more or less come back down to what it is, even though we've put the extra things in. But if it was empty, the rent would probably have to go from here down to here for the landlord, okay? So he understands that really the reality is the new tenants are paying us for the rental of the furniture and the management fees. Really what they pay extra is the loss that he would have got. So really they're paying for that because now we've achieved more for him, and that covers our fees, so he's happy. The £99 is very manageable. It's more or less next to nothing, so we could not say no to that. We've delayed our contract for a while, and we can offer a guaranteed rent. The way we offer a guaranteed rent without putting our company or our neck on the line to guarantee the rent is we're only issuing licenses or holiday rental agreements to all of the clients we're looking for, and we're only putting them in on short-term contracts up to 12 weeks, no more to start. That's just to start. If they wanted longer, that's fine. We'll deal with that at the time, but to start, we're offering a holiday rental contract up to 12 weeks, and they're paying the full term in advance. That minimizes and mitigates our risk. We've got all the money up front from the tenant, which bridges the gap. We send all the money to the landlord. He's happy. So there's no, missed rental payments or anyone doing this, moving in 1 month and refusing to pay the rent or not being able to pay the rent as well. That does happen. Some people may take advantage of this, especially with Boris adding another 3 months protection from eviction. It normally takes around 5 months to evict someone, so now it could be 8 months, so nobody wants that. So every landlord is nervous right now, thinking, oh my God, if I'm looking for a tenant, is this going to happen to me? Am I locking myself into a loss? Shall I just leave the property empty instead and then I don't lose anything or any damage? or don't lose as much as putting a tenant in who doesn't pay the rent, and then I've got to take him to court, and then I've got to wait all this time, and then they do damage to the property, and more problems. So it's basically an offer that the landlord can't refuse. £99 to find a tenant, 12% to manage. We leave all our furniture and styling and dressing in every single apartment in this block of flats. And we guarantee that there's no risk from eviction, okay? Now they can only do that with us. So we're using our contract, a different agreement the landlord's never heard of, never used, doesn't know, falls outside the Housing Act. But we're investors. These are our skills. This is how we've added value just by doing something different. So the property still makes money for us every single month. Every single month. We've already put one tenant in. We got another tenant about to go into one of the other flats. There's a block of flats and we're tenanting it now and fast, even during the pandemic. Right now we are Saturday recording this. Friday, somebody else just moved in, a doctor. Moved in yesterday to one of the flats upstairs, okay? So it's just a win-win all round for the landlord, win-win for us as a company. We just get to delay things. Now we've completely minimized and mitigated our risk. We're not tying up £10,000 for, this flat, that flat, that flat, each flat in the block, and to not get any money back and to take all of this risk. We've literally just, put everybody back to neutral positions, but he's still getting his rent, and we're managing to make several £100s per flat every single month at the same time by now managing the property, but doing things differently. Okay, so the negative consequences by going back to landlords and renegotiating some of the deals. You could lose the deal. We could have lost the deal. The landlord could have said no. He could have retained all of the furniture. He could have been very difficult. He could have not let us have the furniture back. He could have not let us have access to the property. He could have just said, no, he's not doing it. Take it or leave it. And then we could have lost everything. All the hard work, all of the money, all the investment, the furniture, the styling, the maintenance, the contractors, the deep cleaning we did on each apartment. I mean, basically everything. We worked for 4 months, or over 4 months it went on for. We could have lost everything. He could have said no. Okay, so there is negative consequences you need to think about to make sure that you've put the right offer in and restructured it in the right way to make the landlord an offer they can't refuse. If I would have said 3 weeks rent as a tenant finding fee, he would have just said absolutely no way, doesn't work for him. If I would have said we want 18% management for a short let like some companies charge, I won't mention their name, he would have said absolutely no way, doesn't work for him. So we had to position an offer in the right delicate way that he couldn't refuse, and he didn't refuse it. Okay, now let's think of the positive things that have come from this. There's no outlay for us. There's no outlay for me. I don't need to put any money into that deal right now. At the same time, it's not going to make any money the conventional way or the way for the strategy that we wanted to use on that property, because there's no one traveling in that particular area. We're going to be launching the block in the pandemic during the lockdown. Bad news. There's no money there right now. There will be, but right now there isn't. So we've completely mitigated everything right now from the start. So we've got no risk, no outlay. We've actually turned something that would have made us a lot of money to then making us nothing at all, because we're not going ahead with the deal right now or delaying it. And then we turn that into an opportunity where we're getting management fees, we're getting tenant finding fees, we're getting commission on monthly management fees, etc. And we're providing accommodation and solving the problem for the landlord at the same time. So we're getting lots of value back there, and it generates more income for the company when it could have generated zero. Okay. The risk as well, we've minimized our risk, and at the same time we get to hold on to the cash, like I just said, instead of having it tied up during this pandemic. So what I mean by that is, or this episode is, when you've got this problem in front of you and you're thinking of backing out of a deal, or you're thinking this pandemic has happened and there's no other options, and you're just covered, or engulfed in fear or procrastination, the best thing to do is to sit down, to brainstorm with somebody else, so they can have new ideas, fresh ideas, and just look at it from a different angle. Okay, This was the deal, which was a good deal yesterday. Today, that good deal has now turned into a bad deal. How can this situation be turned around so it's win-win for you, win-win for the landlord as well, or win-win for the investor, or win-win for the vendor? This is, it's just transferable, this strategy, onto any deal you're looking at, or even a company that you're buying, or even a property that you're buying, or even a house that you're renting, or even a flat that you're leasing, or even a guaranteed rental contract you're about to enter into, or a joint venture you're about to enter into. The landscape has changed. The game has changed like that. The market has changed like that. So you need to adapt, and you need to adapt quick, because if you don't, you could either sink, or you can obviously rise to the top of this. You could thrive during this. You can still increase your income to your business instead of locking yourself into a loss. Pick up the phone, talk to the vendor, talk to the landlord, talk to the partner, talk to the company, talk to whoever it is in front of you, because there is ways to restructure things. Doesn't matter how far down the line you are, where you are on your journey, how many months into the deal or years you are into the deal. If it cannot work financially for you anymore based on what's happened, which is out of your control, there is definitely ways, clever ways, skillful ways to restructure that deal so it's win-win for you and it's win-win for the owner, for the vendor, for the landlord. In this episode right now, I'm sharing with you guys how we turn every £1,000, which is right here stacked up in these dirty £10 notes, into £3,000 here in these pretty £20 notes, okay? Now, I'm going to show you and share with you a tactic, exactly how anybody on here right now can learn right now how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month, okay? Now, what I'm also going to do in a moment is give you something completely free. Now, what I'm going to give you completely free is a program which I created for my joint venture partners. This is nothing for sale. Nothing at all is for sale here. I'm going to give you right now, well, in a second on this live, I'm going to give you a program I created for my joint venture partners. I'm going to give it to you 100% free. This seems like it's madness. It seems like it's crazy. You probably think I'm some crazy guy that's going to get you to buy something, or somewhere along the line there must be some catch, but forget that crap. We don't sell courses. We don't sell courses. I'm literally going to walk you through and show you how we turn £1,000 right here in these dirty £10 notes into £3,000 right here every single month in my business. Does anybody want to hear that? Who would like to know that? Does anybody here, right now, want to know exactly how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month, okay? Because what I'm going to do is, in a moment on this live, I'm going to give away for free, 100% free, instant access to my program, which I created, which is worth around £5,167 of value. That's real world value. And I'm giving it away 100% free. No catch, nothing like that. There's no catch, there's no payment. It's 100% free. Now you're probably thinking, why am I going to show anybody how to turn 1K into 3K? And why am I going to give away my ebook, this is just a printed copy, okay? Why am I going to give away my ebook at the same time, which shows you exactly how to do that? And why am I going to give away my training program, which we don't sell? It's for my joint venture partners. Why would I give that away? You're probably thinking, okay? Because I'm going to give you 15 hours of training, of coaching, that I've recorded, which I use to teach my joint venture partners. I use it to teach my partners, the investors that I work with, so they can go away and find property deals without having any background, no previous experience. You don't need to buy a property. You don't need to put mortgage deposits down. You don't need to have any credit at all. Anybody listening right now is about to learn how you can turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. These 20s, They're trying to get away. Did you see that? Did you hear that? They're trying to get away. Let's stack them up. They're trying to escape. They're trying to escape the cash money. The cash is trying to escape. It's trying to disappear. The cash money. Let's put it back on there right now. Let's turn that over so it's pretty. That's not pretty. Let's turn that over. Okay, so the money tried to run away. The money tried to disappear. Tried to escape. Okay, this is not escaping, right? I'm going to show you how we turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. Okay, so actually, let me go back before we go forward. In a moment, I'm going to give you the opportunity. I'm going to give this to you guys for free. Not the money here. There's $4,000 here. I'm not giving you the $4,000 for free. I'm going to show you how to make $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 every single month by doing this one thing that I'm about to share with you, which is a property investment tactic. It's a property investment strategy. Okay, so I'm giving away this training program, which consists of this. I do want something in return, okay, which is not a lot to ask for. I do want something in return. Okay, I'm giving away, not money. Don't worry, it's not money. I can see all your comments come. It's not money. Okay, I'm going to give you 15 hours of coaching and training that I've recorded, which I use to teach my joint venture partners to make money. And I've made hundreds of thousands of pounds in my business doing this one thing. They've also made a lot of money doing this one thing. Now, I'm going to give it away. 15 hours of content, training, documents, scripts, everything at all, algorithm hacks, exactly what you need to do to find these property deals, to close these property deals, to value these property deals, you know, the contracts, the scripts, the documents, everything you need, all of my templates, all of my scripts, everything that I use in my company right now to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. I'm giving it to you for free in my training program, 100% free. All I want you to do is go across to my podcast, okay? Many of you have already listened to my podcast. It's a business and entrepreneurship podcast. It's a top-rated business podcast in the UK, top-rated. Now, all I want you to do, if you haven't already listened to it, but many of you guys have because you follow me, and I appreciate that, I just want you to listen to an episode if you haven't already. Leave me a 5-star review and rating. Take a screen print of that and send it to me. Tag me on social, however you want. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. However you want, whatever social platform you're on. I'm Ryan Otto. You'll find me on social, Ryan Otto X. Just Google it. Any social platform. Take a picture. Leave the 5-star review. Leave a comment, a good comment. Tag me in it, send it to me. As soon as you send it to me, I'm going to send you a secret link which takes you to this training program. Let me explain what's in this training program. This is 100% free. Let me explain what's in this training program. I'm giving it to you so you can get inside. You can listen to all the content. You can learn how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month without owning a single property, without buying a single property, without having any credit whatsoever, without putting a mortgage deposit down. I'm going to show you right now how in my business we're turning £1,000, these dirty £10 notes, into £3,000, these prettier 20s, every single month, okay? Anybody who just goes to my podcast, which is called It's Just Business with Ryan Otto. You can Google it. There'll be a link below here somewhere if you need a link. It's called It's Just Business on Apple Podcasts. It's also online. It's also on the website. You can listen to it anywhere. You can find it even by going to my website, which is ryan-otto.com. Listen to the podcast, any episode, if you haven't already. Subscribe. Leave me a 5-star review and rating. What I'm going to do for you when you take a screen print of that and send it to me on any social platform, tag me, however you want, send it to me. When you send that to me, this is what I'm going to do for you. I've created a training program which has made hundreds of thousands of pounds in my business, and it teaches people, only my joint venture partners, my business partners, people I'm working with. We don't sell this. It's never for sale. It's never for sale. We don't sell training. This is a program I use to teach my clients, entrepreneurs, investors, my business partners, my joint venture partners, how to make real money right now, even now in 2020. Let me explain what's in here, and you get all of this 100% free. Wherever you're listening to this, this is streamed online, on social, this is also going to be on my podcast, on YouTube, wherever you're listening to this content right now, this offer is still available, okay? Wherever you listen to this, I'm giving this away to every single person who does this, okay? Every single person who subscribes to my podcast, ryan-otto.com. It's on the webpage, or just Google It's Just Business with Ryan Otto. You'll find the podcast on Apple Podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review, tag me with that review on social, anywhere at all. Email it to me, tweet it to me, send it to me on Facebook, send it to me on LinkedIn, send it to me on Instagram, however you want, whatever social platform you're on. I'm on all of them. When you send it to me, this is what I'm going to give you. Every single one of you. There's no catch, no hoops to jump through, no £1 trial. There's nothing to pay. There's no credit card to get out. It's completely free. We don't sell training. What I'm going to give you 100% free is the secrets that I've been using for nearly 15 years, how to make money in property. Actually 20 years, but 15 years using this one strategy that turns every £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. Now this here is what I'm going to give to you guys just for leaving me a 5-star review on my podcast, taking a screen print, tagging me with that so I get to see you left the review, and I'm going to instantly send you a secret invite link to my training program, which is 100% free, but it's worth £5,167. It's worth £5,167. It's worth a lot more than that, but that's what it's worth if it was sold, because I'm going to teach you how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month, okay? Now, this is what's in this program that I'm giving to every single one of you on here. Every single one of you on here right now and listening, wherever you are, I'm giving this to you for free. Okay, we don't sell courses. Just so you know, Kings the First, we don't sell courses. No. I'm an investor. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I've been in property, in business for 20 years. I'm giving this away for free. A 15-hour training program that I use that's earned me hundreds of thousands of pounds. And anybody I've shared it with, anybody I've given it to, my joint venture partners, they've also earned a lot of money because it teaches you how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 without getting a mortgage, without buying a property, without having to put a mortgage deposit down, without any credit at all. I'm giving it away for free. We don't sell courses. This is a joint venture. This is a training program that I've put together just for my joint venture partners. You don't need any money, Kings the First. You don't need any money. I can see your comment. You don't need any money. I'm not asking you for any money. I'm showing you how every £1,000 is worth £3,000 by doing this one thing, okay? I'm going to give you a program which shows you how we do that with property. Without buying a property, without getting a mortgage, without putting a mortgage deposit down, without having any credit whatsoever, you're simply renting a property from somebody else. You're renting a property for somebody else. So right now, this is what I'm going to give you, okay? How to find the perfect property deal, okay? Now that's valued at £497. That's what it's worth. In this program I give you, it teaches you how to find the perfect property deal, okay? That's without getting a mortgage, without putting any deposits down, okay? Another module is how to value those deals. I'm showing you how to value the deals. Kings the First, it's not illegal. It's not called rent to rent. That's another strategy. That's you rent a place and then you rent the rooms out independently. This is not called rent to rent. This is simply called rental arbitrage. My company was the first company to publicly do this in the UK. We gave keynote talks in the last recession around 2008 to 2010 in London, Piccadilly, all over the UK, okay? we gave talks on this particular strategy. It's not called rent to rent. It's way before rent to rent. It's rental arbitrage. You get a property from one market, you rent it, you take it out of that market and put it into a brand new rental market where the money goes from 1,000 you would get to 3,000. It's rental arbitrage. It's got nothing to do with renting rooms. I want to give it to you, Kings the First, 100% free. All I want you to do, I'm going to give you 15 hours of this training program, which I've recorded. It's made me hundreds of thousands of pounds, and my joint venture partners who have just listened to it, followed and executed on exactly what I shared with them. I shared my best tactics. Let me show you what's in here. How to find the perfect property deal. I teach you how to find the deals. I teach you how to value the deals. I teach you how to close the deals with the landlord in this program, okay? I also give you the contracts that you need. I'm giving you the contract that you need. I'm also giving you the how to fill your property all year round. I'm giving you the tips, the tactics, the things that we use, how to fill the property all year round. I'm also going to show you in this training program that I'm about to give to you right now, I'm also going to show you how to automate many of the things that can be automated. You can automate many of these things. I'm also going to give you the upsells, customer upsells, which generate a lot more money in my business. So how you can turn 1,000 into 3,000. It's all here in this program I'm about to give you, okay? I also share how you get 5-star reviews from guests, 5-star reviews. Now, what I'm also giving in the way in there, in this program, is booking.com algorithm hacks. How to get your property, this property that you rent, on page 1 of booking.com. When you're on page 1 of booking.com, that's the difference between making money and not making money, by being on page 1. I'm going to give you that hack as well, how to get on page 1, okay? I'm also giving you all of my documents, all of my scripts, all of my templates, every single thing that I use in my business to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. The documents, the contracts, the scripts, the templates, it's all in here, which I'm about to give anybody listening right now, anybody watching right now, everybody. This is for free for all of you guys, okay? And I'm also going to give you the short letting secrets updated in 2020 that work right now. So I'm literally giving you 15 hours of training, 15 hours of training that I've recorded, that I've used over and over again. It makes around £42,155 a year just for one property that we rent. And it's not renting rooms. It's not renting rooms, Kings the First. No. Are you going to put this on your YouTube channel? This is live. It's not going to go on the YouTube channel. What's the best way to invest £150,000 as well? Okay. 150k. All I would say is maximize your leverage. Maximize your leverage right now. You don't want to be investing in buying properties right now unless you're getting 40, 50, 60% off, because the market is just falling. You don't want to come in now. Don't want to come into the market now and then the market falls and falls and falls for the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. You need to try and wait to see where the bottom is. Leverage that 150,000 into deposits. This is what you need to do. Leverage the 150 into as many properties as you can in high growth areas. So you find the properties below market value at the bottom of the cycle as the market's continuing to crash. When it has a little bounce or it's plateaued and then it's about to come back, which doesn't happen overnight, it takes a while. Doesn't happen overnight. You'll see the headlines. You'll see it on the news. You'll know when we're at the bottom. Prices will start to rise. Everything, spring will be happening. This is next year at the earliest. Next year at the earliest. And then you come in and then you use your 150,000, which you've taken to the bank, and then you get a mortgage and you use that 150,000 to get an 80% mortgage. So you use that as a 20% deposit to get into multiple properties or nearly £1 million worth of property. You wait for the climate to come back. In 2008, when the market lost about 32%, right? If you think it loses 32%, you just need to wait for it to come back. As long as you buy at the bottom, it will come back because it has since 1942. 7 to 8% a year on average since 1942, the market's risen. Yes, there's peaks and troughs, but overall consistently since 1942, it's risen at 7% a year, okay? Then what you do is wait for the market to come back. If it's lost 30%, you've got £1 million worth of assets, property. It comes back by 30%, you've got 1.3 million. Okay? It really is that simple. It really is that simple. 1.3 just over. Okay? It really is that simple. So that's the answer to that question. Is it worth taking the government bounce back loan? I would say 100% if you can do it and you can get it and you can use that money to make money when you're not really supposed to make money from it, or it's supposed to be used for certain things, so make sure it's within the guidelines. But yes, if you get 25, 30, 50,000 pounds from the bounce back loan, that you can turn that into a lot more money right now. Okay, there's fire sales on assets, there's things you can get into, there's places you can put that, there's deals you can get into. Some of these deals hardly cost anything that I'm sharing with you, how to turn 1k into 3k. Okay, so I'm going to give every single one of you here right now my tactics, my strategy, my training program, which isn't for sale ever. It's worth £5,167. It's not for sale. I give it to my joint venture partners to make money, and we make money together. All I want to do is let all of you guys test drive it for me. I just want all of you guys to test drive it and to find the bugs and tell me where the faults are, because maybe in the future I may sell it. Maybe in the future. So I just want to give it away to you guys for free. Give you the contracts, give you the documents, give you the scripts, show you how to make money right now, even in a recession. I'm giving you how to find the perfect property deals, how to value those deals, how to close those deals with landlords, the contract and the contracts that you need, how to fill your properties, how to automate the processes, how to get the best possible reviews, and how to upsell the customers to make more money. I'm giving you algorithm hacks to get the property on page one. I'm giving you all of my documents and scripts and templates that I've used for the last 15 years to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month, okay? All I want you to do is go across to my podcast. Most of you guys are members, you subscribe, you've listened to the podcast. It's free. It's a top-rated business podcast which teaches you more ways to make money right now in 2020. It's a top-rated business podcast. It's called It's Just Business with Ryan Otto. All you need to do is go over there. Or you can find the podcast on my website. It's called ryan-otto.com. Listen to an episode if you haven't already. Subscribe. Leave a 5-star review. Take a screen print of that review and tag me on social media anywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere at all, LinkedIn. Even send it to me through my website via email. Anything you want to do, just send it to me. Tag me in it. As soon as I see that and I can see it's from you, I'm going to give you instant access to this training program. Let me walk you through some deals. I'm going to give you access to my training program, which will show you how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month. One of these property deals generates £42,155 a year in my company from one property. That replaces the average UK salary. That's mad. It replaces the average UK salary, just one property. There's also an ebook in there as well, which I'm going to give you at the same time, okay? So I'm just going to share some case studies right now that we've used this strategy, this tactic, which you guys can get 100% free if you just go across to my podcast, It's Just Business, leave a 5-star review and rating, take a screen print and tag me anywhere on social media. It's Ryan Otto X. Anywhere on social media. That's my tag on social media. The podcast is called It's Just Business, okay? Now, in the last 12 months, this is my ebook. This is my ebook, okay? Which you also get a copy of. This walks you through the tactics. This ebook goes with the training program, which is 15 hours of content. Okay, so in the last 12 months, this is just one deal, a case study. The last 12 months, a 3-bed apartment, okay? A 3-bed apartment produced £61,144 in 1 year, in 12 months. £64,144, okay? Now, this is nothing special. It's just a 3-bedroom flat that used to rent for £1,800 a month. Did you hear that? It's just a 3-bedroom flat that used to rent for £1,800 a month. In 1 month of August alone last year, we got 8,200 in 1 month. We pay 1,800 for the rent. We got 8,200. It's right here in my ebook. I'm sharing this with you guys. It's what I'm giving to you. This takes you through. This is 64 pages. It takes you through the tactics. It takes you through the strategies. It's called the Rent Arbitrage Machine. You get this for free as a copy with the training program that I give you that goes with this, that shows you how to make money. Okay, let's look at this. So this is one particular deal. It now rents at 5,095 and 33 pence for the last 12 months. That's every single month over the last 12 months. It used to rent for £1,800. It used to rent for £1,800. Now we've generated in the last 12 months £5,095 and 33 pence every single month. Okay, where can I get this? King's the first. Okay, where can you get this? I'm giving it to you for free. There's 15 hours of content in here, recorded. 15 hours. I give it to my partners, my business partners, my joint venture partners. It's worth £5,167. Shows you how to turn £1,000 into £3,000 consistently every single month. All you need to do, I'm just asking you to give my podcast, my top-rated business podcast on Apple Podcasts, okay? All you need to do is go to my podcast, which is called It's Just Business with Ryan Otto. You can Google it, okay? It's called It's Just Business. Or you can go to my website, ryan-otto.com. Scroll down and there's a link that takes you to my podcast on Apple Podcasts. I just want you to leave a review, a 5-star review and rating. Take a screen print of that review. Tag me on social, which is Ryan Otto X. Tag me on social, anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, anywhere you want, because I'll be there on social. When you tag me with the screen print of your review, I'm going to send you an invite link, a secret invite link. You don't have to pay £5,167 for this. I'm going to send you an invite link to my membership site. It's 100% free. For you guys, this is for my partners, my joint venture partners. I show them how to make money, okay, who work with me. This has generated hundreds of thousands of pounds in my business, and I'm giving it away to anybody listening right now live, because this is streamed in multiple places. This is also going to be on my podcast as well. So anybody listening, wherever you are at any stage, this still applies. Whenever you hear this, it still applies. Why am I doing it? Because I want all of you guys to test drive this program, and I want to get you inside. I want to get your feedback. I want you to make money from it. I want you to use it. Use my contracts, use my documents, use my scripts, use my templates, use my 20 years of experience and knowledge to go away and make money from this. I'm not asking for anything in return apart from when you've made money. I want to hear that you've made money. I want to be part of helping you make money. When you've made money, I want you to tell me that you've made money, and I want you to then give me a review once you've been inside and you've made money. That is the one reason I'm doing this. I know it makes money. I'm giving it to all of you guys to test out for free, to make money from it, to turn £1,000 into £3,000 every single month, okay? Okay, that's one property. I'm going to go and look at another property right now. Okay, this is another property. It's a 3-bedroom house. This is what this teaches you. 3-bedroom house. In the last 3 months alone, it's made £16,518 in 3 months, okay? In 1 month alone, it generated £8,359. This is madness. We pay £1,850 a month for this flat. Sorry, 3-bedroom house. We pay £1,850. Okay, it now rents on average at £5,506 every single month on average. It seems like madness. We pay $1,850. This makes money. It turns 1,000 into 3,000 every single month. Here's another property. Let me share this one. This is all in my ebook that you get as well. It shows you exactly how to do it. This goes with the training program. It's visual, it's audio. You can listen to it on your phone. It's an audio training program, and it's a video training program. You can download it however you want. Audio, video, or you can print it out however you want it. That's how you can get it, okay? Another property. This is a 2-bedroom property in Portsmouth, actually, this particular one. And it's produced In the last 3 months, it's produced £12,048 in the last 3 months, okay? Now, we pay £1,400 a month for that property. Every single month, it's generated £4,016. £4,016. That's £2,616 profit every single month. Are you hearing this? Do you get this? Do you understand this? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Are you there? Are you hearing this? Do you understand this? £1,000. This shows you how to turn £1,000 into 3,000. How to turn 1,000 right here into 3,000 every single month. Okay, this which I'm giving you for free. It shows you exactly how to do that. Let's look at another deal. Right. In the last 12 months, a different deal, a 2-bedroom house, has produced £51,644 just by following my program, following my training program I'm giving you guys for free, which we don't sell. We don't sell training. We don't sell courses. We don't sell training or courses. I'm giving you this for free, you guys, okay? Now, in August alone, it rented for £6,202. In August alone. The previous market rent was £1,250. Okay, the new rental income has been £4,303 every single month. This is full of case studies of deals. This is full of them. I could go on and on and on. On and on and on, okay? I give you this. It's my rent arbitrage machine. I've used it for 15 years. And right now, it's making money in property right now. You don't need to buy a property. You don't need to be the owner. You don't need to put a mortgage deposit down. You don't need to go to the bank. You don't need to have credit. You can rent the property from the landlord, and every £1,000 is now generating 3,000. So you pay 1,000, you collect 3,000. It's like Monopoly. Pay 1,000, collect 3,000 every single month. If any of you guys listening, watching, wherever you are, okay, it doesn't matter when you're listening to this or where this is restreamed, this offer is still valid. There's nothing for sale. Go to my website, it's ryan-otto.com. Scroll down on my website. Click the link to go across to my podcast on Apple Podcasts. Leave a 5-star review and rating. This is how you get it for free. 15 hours of training, video training, 15 hours of audio training. You can print it as well. You can print it out if you want to. It's been transcribed. All the documents, all the scripts, all the templates, all the contracts you need. The contract alone will cost you £1,000. The contract alone will cost you £1,000. In this training program, I'm giving away just for you to give me a review. That's it. That's all I'm asking for. Just for you to give me a review. I'm giving you a training program, which I only give to my joint venture partners. And I've made hundreds of thousands of pounds out of this. They've made a lot of money out of this. I've made hundreds of thousands of pounds out of this. Okay? And there's nothing for sale. We don't sell any training. We don't sell anything. I'm giving it to you guys for free because I want you to test it. I want you to get inside, go inside my members area. I want you to take all of my documents in this training program, take all of the scripts, take all of the contracts, listen to me teaching you and helping you, which I teach my partners for 15 hours of content in there for you guys to get inside. Just go to my podcast. It's called It's Just Business with Ryan Otto. It's 100% free. Just leave a 5-star review and rating, screen print, tag me, and I will send you straight away. So you're inside. You get the ebook. You get everything that you need. You get 15 hours of video training. You can download it so it's audio and everything else that you need, okay? It's all inside. I'm just giving it to you guys so you can find these property deals, learn how to value these deals. You get all the contracts, all the scripts. You can fill the properties all year round. It shows you how to get the property on page 1 of booking.com. It shows you all the short let secrets you need to know right now in 2020, and you get absolutely everything. And all I'm asking for is a review, okay? So I hope you got some value from this. Make sure you get across to the podcast, It's Just Business with Ryan Otto, and then boom, there you go. Enjoy. If you're a landlord and you don't know how to increase your rent up to 199% using booking.com, then you're making a big mistake. because every £1,000 of rent is now returning £3,000 every single month on Booking.com. And you never have to evict a tenant again. I'm serious. Anyways, I created an ebook. It's called The Rent Arbitrage Machine. So I can show you exactly how you can increase your rent up to 199% on your own rental properties. Just head over to theyrentanyhome.com/free book and just tell me where to send your free copy. Hello, Sash? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's better. Go for it. So you were saying your question was?
So I'm talking to this company who they do build to rent, and they said that they don't have any landlords as of yet. It's a company that owns it. So my first question was, whose number do I get down to give to you? Would it just be the agents, or would it be someone else's?
Well, if you're talking with the owner or the developers, it's a lot easier to speak to them without an agent in the middle. But if you've only got the agent's details who are representing a developer, then we can only speak to them.
Okay, that's fine. And my second question was, would you still like the 30-day period of no rent?
We do. We get that 21 to 28 days on every single deal that we do, especially now in this climate. It enables us to photograph it, furnish it, style it, dress it, market it, bring it to market. So yeah.
So what you need is, so would you pay the deposit on the property first of all?
We pay the deposit and the first month's rent all in advance when we do the deal. Then they've got all the money. Then we get access. So we've got the first 28 days for us to launch the property, photographs, marketing, viewings. And if you think about it, every tenant has to give a month's notice wherever they are anyway, in whatever property they're in. So that goes in line with that.
Okay, so say you give the first month's initial rent to them.
Yeah.
Then you technically pay for the first month's rent anyway.
Well, we give it to them, but it starts from the 29th day after the contract has started once we've got access. So we give it to them like today. We get 28 days free, which is just access to dress, style, photograph. The 29th day, the rent we've already paid starts from that day.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's... Okay, I'll look that into thing.
Yeah.
And I was also thinking, so say if I want to start this eventually, and say I do get like clients coming in for a week, how would I keep up with the housekeeping, like making sure that everything's okay for the next people?
Well, this is the thing. When you're first getting started, it's harder because you need to find a housekeeper that's that flexible, that's used to working in hotels, that can work on an ad hoc basis with you. So they check out at 10 and they check in from 3. So during that time, the housekeeper's got to go in with all the linen and the cleaning and the soaps and everything else and towels and get it ready for the next guests.
Okay.
It's difficult when you start, but when you've got multiple properties, you can then have a part-time or full-time, the same housekeeper.
Okay, fine.
Or you use a company. If you use a company, they charge a lot of money for turnovers. They charge probably about £60 on average to do the linens and to clean an average 2-bed apartment.
Every time?
Each time, yeah. The companies that do it, they charge a lot. So you've got to recruit the team yourself.
Okay, that's because I'm gonna go. I've got for the build to rent. I'm gonna try and discuss some deals tomorrow, and I'm gonna try and push them to give me quite a few of the properties that they're trying to sell. And if I send them your way, I'd get introduction people, the ones I've introduced, right?
Yeah, definitely. If we do a deal with them, 100%, yeah.
Okay. I was making sure because I've spoken about the briefing to them and they seem quite interested. So I'm going to try and push them to give me quite a few of them. Okay.
All right, fantastic. And you're finding it all useful, the modules and the training in there?
They're perfect. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm really glad. I'm really pleased.
Thank you for allowing me to get access to them.
No worries. You're welcome. Like I said, we don't sell that. That's just for our partners, joint venture partners. We're just trying to build up some reviews, get people inside making money, get some feedback, get some video testimonials, and then we'll use that to recruit another group of agents and partners.
Okay, fair. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
All right?
All right, yeah.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, podcasters. So this episode, I want to talk to you about some joint ventures that are making money for me in my business right now, and something that maybe I was a little bit scarred from in the past. So let me go backwards before we go forwards. A long time ago, I'm talking around about, let me think. When I got into business, I got into property, I got into investing in the year 1999. And I had a joint venture partner in around about 2009, actually, 10 years later, thinking about it, which went terribly wrong. 2 joint venture partners, which were friends. They were friends before we went into business together, and it ended badly. I mean, I'm not going to go backwards and go over old things and old wounds or mention any names, because that's just not right. But they are in the public eye. They are the so-called gurus of today, and they are doing the usual crap, which is selling the training. Really not really doing the deals, they're not. They're just, the perpetual wheel of selling the how-tos, selling the training. And it's for that reason that we went our separate ways a long time ago. I'm talking around about 2009, somewhere around there, because there was all about selling the dream, selling the training, selling the how-to guides. They weren't about actually in the trenches doing the deals, making real money from knowledge and experience of doing the deals. They were just selling the sizzle on the how-to guides, which we went our separate ways. Anyway, that uncoupling, you could say, was, quite vicious. It was in the public domain. They were the so-called gurus. They had the network, and they had all the friends, and they had all of the followers in that sense. Back then, I was just interested in making money, doing deals, and that's it. Anyway, things happened, we fell out, and everybody went their separate ways. So that sort of scarred me a bit about getting into bed with another joint venture partner, you could say, because of the experience and how bad it was, and the problems and the challenges and the aftermath and the backlash and everything else, and the accusations and the false claims that came with that uncoupling. And so let's fast forward to now. Okay, so now in 2020, I've actually entered into multiple joint ventures, to be fair. Not now in 2020, prior to 2020, and right now in 2020. I've entered into a joint venture with my partner. So this is my girlfriend, who's also... Oh, sorry for the noise. I'm driving on the way to a new property that we just got the keys to. Just on the way there now, just to meet the handyman who's doing some work. Anyway, so I've entered into business with my partner, my girlfriend. So we live in the same household, etc. She's my partner. She's been invested in property for about probably a couple of years now, to be honest. And I've shown her how it all works. I've taught her the ropes. I've helped her find the first deals. Actually, as it happens, the first 2 deals that we found, which she still has now, were a joint venture back then. But again, because of clashes of opinions and being in a relationship with the person that you're also entering into business with, it didn't really work for me first time round, for a multitude of reasons, from knowing where the boundaries are, respecting the boundaries, to not get emotional. Because for me, in business, I mean, there's just no room for emotions. There's no room for people getting upset. There's just no room for, people getting stressed out and upset and attacking the other partner. and getting irate and emotional. There's just no room for it. There's enough problems in the world. There's enough challenges in the world. There's enough problems and challenges in business every day just for making money and putting fires out that I just don't want anymore. I just don't want any more, and I especially don't want to invite anybody else into my circle, which is my space, my clear headspace, which is my world, which I love and I enjoy, and I get everything I need from that world in business, making money, the ups, the downs, the challenges, putting fires out, dealing with staff, dealing with money troubles, dealing with bigger problems every single day, etc., etc. So I enjoy that. I love that. So I'm actually living what I call my dream in business. When I wake up, I go to the office, and then my working day starts. I mean, it starts way before then. It's 24 hours. I'm always on the clock. But just to give you an idea, when I start work, the only problems I want, because I'm the ultimate person which is responsible and accountable for those problems, because it starts and stops with me, I want to choose those problems. I want to invite those people. I want to be the decider, the decision maker, not somebody else bringing those problems. So I don't want somebody else that I've entered into business with, entered into a partnership with, that comes along and then pollutes my space, or then creates new problems, or then, puts me on tilt because I have to now manage their emotions, etc. It's like having a member of staff. If you've got a negative member of staff around, you just cut them. Don't want them around, because whether they're doing massive or reaching huge sales targets, it can be toxic. It doesn't matter how much money they earn. If they're getting into that mental space of yours, which is where all your creativity comes from, all of your inspiration comes from, all your excitement comes from, all your enjoyment, and then that puts a cloud over that, for me, it's just that person needs to go. Forget how much money they're generating. It just completely upsets the balance. Not saying that's what my partner's like at all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that. But the first time round, there were some clashes of opinions, you could say. Maybe it's because she's brand new to business, never had a business partner, etc. And I've obviously been doing this for over 20 years. So maybe just a difference of knowledge and experience, and etc., etc. So anyway, that didn't work out a couple of years ago. The deals reverted back to her, so she had those 2 deals. And fast forward now, 2020, we've actually gone back into partnership together. We've ironed out any of the little challenges that were there before, which just comes to a clash of opinions. There's nothing more. It really is that simple. And now we've actually entered into, let me think, in 2020, in the pandemic, I'm talking about, in the pandemic alone, with one of my joint venture business partners, which is actually my partner, we've actually entered into, let me think, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm counting the deals, 4, this is since the 23rd of March, that's 4 deals, 5 deals, and I think we're looking at something else at the moment. So we've entered into 5 joint ventures together in the last 12 weeks, you could say, somewhere around 12 weeks, since the pandemic started. Because since the pandemic started, lots of people are just at home watching Netflix, eating ice cream, getting fat, moaning, complaining, watching the news, not doing a lot, basically doing fuck all, and just blaming the world, and I can't run my business, and I can't do this, and I can't do that, just making excuses for about basically everything. Anyway, I'm the opposite. This pandemic has brought nothing but opportunities. Because of that, we found 5 deals that we've entered into, got the keys to, got guests in, got tenants in, etc. already in the last 12 weeks. So I'm talking about deals we've done since the pandemic has been upon us. Yes, it's terrible. It's a horrendous situation out there, but there's only 2 types of people. One type of person just complains. Just complains, doesn't really do a lot. Just complains, watches the news, eats ice cream, Ben & Jerry's, watches a lot of Netflix, watches a lot of films, binges on box sets and crap like that. For me, it's the opposite. Where is the opportunity in what's happening right now? I found the opportunity, which are out there right now, and yes, me and my partner, one of my partners, this is business partner and partner, have made a lot of money in this pandemic. Now, I don't want to apologize for that, because some people will say you're profiteering off of the pandemic. This is wrong. You can't sell. You can't make money. You shouldn't be doing this. You know, you're a shark, some people would say, but it's not about that. We're in business to make money in all cycles. When the property market is rising, when it's static, when it's plateaued, when it's falling, and when it's crashing, and when there's a pandemic. It makes no difference to me. We're making money in all cycles, you could say. The same as an investor, Warren Buffett, that invests in the stock market. When it's rising, there's one strategy. When it's completely neutral, there's a different strategy. When it's falling and crashing and burning and everybody's getting out, there's another completely different strategy. Anyway, so we've done 5 deals in the last 12 weeks. One of the deals, actually, we just got the keys to on Friday, just gone. And as it happens, we're in there now, doing the work now, getting the property done, and ready for guests, ready for clients, okay? I've just turned into a dead end. I'm trying to find another property we just got the keys to, and I've actually got stuck because I've just gone into a dead end. So I'm just driving at the moment onto another property we just got the keys to, and I'm lost. I went here yesterday, and now I can't even find it. Actually, that brings me on to another story. I remember back in around about 2006, somewhere around there, 2006, I bought a block of flats. And I didn't even go there. I hardly ever used to go to any of the properties that I used to buy, because it was just a numbers game. How much does it cost to buy it? The building? How much will it make? How much is the finance? What's the exit strategy? What if it doesn't rent? What is the size? Etc, etc. Now, I just used to look at those numbers from a piece of paper or on the internet, online, look at the comparables, look at everything else, and to decide, yes, I want to go into this deal, no, I don't. So I bought a block of flats a long time ago. I think it was around 2006. And I never actually went there until, I'm trying to think when it was now, about 2015? I think it was 2015 or 2016. I've never actually been there. So how many years is that? Maybe 10 years later. I didn't even know where it was. I went there, I remember, to try to just have a look for the first time. I think some tenants had moved out. Actually, I remember what it was. We had an eviction, thinking about it. And I think some tenants had moved out as well, around about the same time. And I'm lost again. And I had to go there, or I was in the area. So I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to pop by and have a look at this block of flats that I bought. Just because I've never seen it. And some of them were empty at the same time. So I was trying to find it, and I couldn't even find this block of flats that I bought. So I had to ring somebody, one of the agents, and say to them, you know, this is quite embarrassing. You know, my flat that you rent, this one, and you know, the other flat that you rent, that one. I'm actually on my way there now. I'm just trying to find the flat. And I can't seem to find the block. So they just laughed and said, you can't find the block to your own flats, you can't find where they are. Have you never been there before? I mean, we've been renting it for you for however long, and you're telling me you can't find it. Anyway, that was a little embarrassing, ringing the agent to try to ask them for directions to get to a block of flats that I bought that they've been renting for many years for me. Anyway, that's how it comes. I sidetracked a bit there, but that's how it used to be, and that's how it still is now, looking at the numbers and just deciding like that, with all the numbers in front of you, does this deal work or not? Okay, so I got sidetracked a little bit there. Here we are. I've actually found where we are. So I got lost, and now I've found the property. So I'm just going to put you on hold for 1 second. Let's hit pause. Okay, so just a little interval there. Thank you for bearing with me. Just had to jump inside and meet one of the handymen. So back in the car. Here we go. Driving again. So yeah, what I was talking about is joint ventures. Joint ventures with business partners. Now, I just entered into another joint venture with my girlfriend, who's also my business partner. And yeah, second time round. You know, we've ironed out all of the little teething problems that there were. We've understandably, two people coming together to work together, to make money together, and having the complications of being in a relationship as well. So 2 years later, we've got back into business together, worked out all of those minor things, nothing major, just minor things. And now, since the pandemic, we've actually entered into 5 deals together. I'm just going to run through them now, actually, just to give you some insight about the type of deals that are available, the type of deals that are out there, and how you guys can make some money from property right now, even during the pandemic, still during the lockdown. Okay, so one of the deals, actually 2 of the deals, thinking about it, 2 of them were from the same person in that sense. So what it is, there's a holiday rental company. Now this holiday rental company, they've got a lot of properties. They had some vacant properties, some voids, some properties that they could not rent. So what I did is I found the properties on the internet just by searching for short lets, any short let available. And I found one property initially, and it was vacant, and it was already set up as a short let. So it was already from a holiday rental company. This is the key. I literally just approached them and said, we're also a short-term rental company. We have clients. I see your property is empty. You're asking for this much money. Can we do a deal where we can lease it from you for a fixed period of time? They was offering bookings from something like 1 week to 4 months. So I approached them, said how much we wanted to pay, agreed the deal, and that was around about £1,400 a month, including all of the bills. This is a 3-bedroom property, which normally would rent on the local market rent for around about 1,800, maybe 2,000 a month. Remember, it's including all of the bills. On a short-term rental basis, it would rent for probably about anything up to about £3,000 in reality. In the summer, a lot more, but on average, probably about £3,000 a month. This particular property would rent for. We picked it up at 1,400. Okay, now that's one of the deals. Also, once we closed that deal, we approached them, or I approached them and said, do you have anything else? Of course, they've got other properties. They're a holiday rental company. So they sent us the details of another property. They sent us the details of another property, and we had a look at that. And this is another 3-bedroom property. This is a 3-bedroom flat. We did a deal on a 3-bedroom flat, and that was around about the same price, $1,350, $1,375 a month, including all the bills, and it would have rented for the similar money. I'm talking probably about $1,800-1,900 a month. It should have rented for, we picked it up for $1,375, I think it was, including all of the bills. The same thing, we just booked it for as long as we could. I think that was around about 3 months on a short-term rental contract. Okay, now that property right now, or each of those properties, is generating at least £1,000 profit every single month. That's 2 there that we've done together from the same landlord, from the same company. Now I found another rental or short-term holiday rental company and approached them. They had one property. We secured that property from them. We ended up taking 2 properties. So this particular holiday rental company, had multiple properties. These guys have got probably about, I don't know off the top of my head, I think they got about 40 properties, something like that. I think they got about 40 properties. Oh, we want to go this way. We want to turn left here. They've got about 40 properties, and we approached them on one deal, managed to secure one particular deal, which was around about, I'm trying to think what we paid now. What did we pay for that? The first deal we did with them, I can't even remember which one it was. There's so many going on. And what deal did we do with them? I think that would have been, actually I know which one that was. So we secured that in the region of £1,050 a month. This is a 1-bed flat, approach a holiday rental company, and we have a fixed period with them and a rolling contract. This one is slightly different because they wanted to know that when the holiday rental market opens back up, they're not tied into us for a long time and they're losing money, because they're already losing money during the lockdown because their properties are empty, many of them, and we're taking them at rock bottom prices. This is a 1-bed with a garden. I think we got it at $1,050, including all of the bills. So this is unheard of. It would normally rent probably about $1,650. We got it for $1,050, including all of the bills. That one generates in the region of about $2,000 a month. That one generates for us. So we've basically got at least 100% return on that, which is fantastic from a 1-bed. And then we secured another property from them, which is a 2-bed. So that's 2 from this same company, another holiday rental company. So that's 2 different holiday rental companies I'm talking about now. We secured another one from them, a very luxury, high-end, fully furnished, of course. All of these are 2-bedroom duplex. So it's on 2 levels in a very, very prestigious building. It's probably valued in the region of about 500 to about £600,000 right now. So it's a luxury, high-end 2-bedroom apartment on 2 floors. Now that one we paid $1,550 a month for, and that again is on a fixed period and then on a notice period for around about, I think it's about 7 or 14 days if I can remember correctly, that when they get the bookings, when they get enough dates in their calendar, they just serve the notice on us, then it reverts back to them, and then they run it as their own holiday rental. So that generates probably in the region of, let me think, that one's generating in the region of about £3,000 a month, okay? So that's 4 deals that we did together there with my new joint venture partner, which is actually my girlfriend, my partner as well. And we got one other in the same building, thinking about it recently. Last Friday, we got the keys to another one in the same building. This is actually next door. This is actually next door to the duplex that we've got. Now, this one was another particular deal where they tried to sell it, they couldn't sell it, it's sitting empty, so we've done a deal where we just rent it until they exchange contracts, okay? Now, there's lots of these deals around, especially now in the current climate, there's lots of these deals around. So let me give you an idea of what we picked this deal up at. Bearing in mind the one next door but one is valued at around about £500,000 to £600,000. It used to rent, or the average market rent is about $2,100 a month. That's on an AST, right, without the bills. On a short-term rental, you can get anything up to about £3,500 a month. A lot more if you run it per night, okay? Now, the one 2 doors away, or 1 door away, there's one apartment in the middle, and then the next one we actually got from a completely separate company that I've worked with for a few years now, and again, the local market rent is anything from about $1,700 to about $2,000 for this particular one, 2 bedrooms, but it needed a bit of work, so we agreed to do the work to it, and we actually got that for just over £1,000 a month, because we have to do the work. So the local market rent, like I just said, is about $1,800 to about $2,000 on an AST. We got it for just over $1,000 with the bills included. So let's just say on average, those 5 deals that we've done in the last 12 weeks with one of my joint venture partners generate at least £1,000 a month, okay? That's $5,000 a month they generate at least every single month. Now that's net. That's net profit. So when we share that, that's at least £2,500 a month for those 5 deals. Now, what have I learned from this experience of having joint venture partners is, the reality is, there was lots of challenges at the start. There was lots of clashes of opinions. I suppose because it's my girlfriend, I was maybe treating her slightly different because she's my girlfriend and my joint venture partner. And because on the other side of the coin, in her opinion, I'm her partner, isn't a relationship partner, and I'm her business partner, so she was treating me a bit different, a bit emotional, a bit, for example, if you're in a meeting with somebody, the professionalism has come down a level, you could say, because we're in a relationship and we're partners in that sense. So you could probably say that's where the clash was, or that's where the challenge was, or that's just where the discrepancies were, just because we was in a relationship. But we've both come a long way. It's been like a full circle in that sense. And now we understand each other better, and now we know how to treat each other, and now we know what we shouldn't say to each other, and now we know what we should say to each other by understanding what pushes each other's buttons, what upsets each other, where it's the crossover between, it's like doing business with family. Some say you should never do it, some say you should only do it. Like, for example, Trump loves doing business with family, which I believe is the best thing, because it gives you that extra level of trust, of security, of, like dedication and everything else. But on the other side of the coin, it can backfire and be the exact opposite, because the other person, the expectations that they have because they're a family member, is thinking they might get treated easier, or their work will be, or they could be more relaxed about it, or they can get away with more, etc., etc. I think it should be the opposite. When you're doing business with family, there's like that higher level of wanting to get things done, the higher level of trust, the higher level of dedication, the higher level of wanting to make it a success, and what they bring to the table because they're family. So now I'm really pleased. We're working together. Things are just flowing. We've got these 5 deals that we've already done in the last 12 weeks or so, and I think it's a very good thing for anybody listening, to work together, to work with family, to work with your family members in that sense. So yeah, just me and my ramblings about doing business with family, doing joint ventures with family members, or even partners, girlfriends, etc. It can work, it does work, it takes a lot of work, but when you get to that stage, when it works, it's working very well. So I'm really pleased about this joint venture. So I hope that you guys got some value from this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts. He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a f***. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show.